My fiancée fled on our wedding day, so I turned around and married her mother. If I can't be your husband, I'll be your new father. When she returned and saw me still in her house, she thought I was shamelessly refusing to leave. She pulled a good-looking, clean-cut man out from behind her, declaring he was her true love, and told me to give up my delusions. I smiled faintly, clasping the hand of the woman beside me. Daughter, son-in-law, why don't you start by calling me Dad? I am the heir to the Miller Group. Today was supposed to be my wedding day with the heiress of the Carter family, but the bride who should have been at the ceremony was nowhere to be found. Are you saying Emily Carter ran off? My voice was ice cold. That's what we hear. The maid trembled as she spoke. My parents were furious too. The Miller and Carter families had been preparing for this wedding for months. Invitations had gone out to all the major prominent families in New York City, and the media was buzzing with coverage. If Emily had any objections to this wedding, she could have raised them at any time during this period. To pull a runaway bride stunt on the wedding day itself was a public slap in the face to the Miller family. After calming me down, my parents hurried off to discuss countermeasures. Just as I was huddled in a corner wondering how this wedding feast could possibly proceed, a commotion erupted at the entrance. I instinctively looked up, and my eyes fell upon a woman in a black suit with a stunningly beautiful face. This was Isabella Carter, the current head of the Carter family and Emily's adoptive mother. At 35, she still looked like she was in her early 20s. Isabella rarely attended large gatherings. Even I had only seen her a handful of times. The moment this woman appeared, people from every family at the banquet rushed forward to greet her. Gazing at Isabella's exquisite face, a crazy idea suddenly popped into my head. I watched as Isabella politely declined each person before striding towards me. Miss Carter, I managed a polite smile, though my voice held a hint of grievance. In the next second, Isabella's deep and pleasant voice, like a cello, sounded, Mr. Miller, I apologize for the distress this has caused you. I've already sent people to retrieve her. Once she's caught, you can deal with her as you see fit. I will explain everything to the guests. The wedding will be postponed, and the Carter family will bear all costs incurred. It was indeed a perfect solution, but I now had a better option. Miss Carter, I've been engaged to the Carter family since childhood, but the bride doesn't necessarily have to be Emily, right? The situation had changed too quickly. Isabella didn't react immediately. When she did, her gaze deepened. Of course. Who did you have in mind? I offered a sweet smile, and without hesitation extended my hand towards Isabella. Will you be my bride? Although Isabella was Emily's adoptive mother, she wasn't her biological mother. In fact, Isabella had never actually married. Rumor had it that at 25, she adopted a child from a distant branch of the family, and that child was Emily. Isabella flashed a radiant smile, raising an eyebrow. Are you sure? Absolutely. I didn't hesitate. Compared to Emily, her mother Isabella was infinitely more attractive. Just looking at her gorgeous face every day would be soothing, much better than being cheated on behind my back by that unappealing Emily. Isabella looked at me steadily. All right. Her cool, fair hand grasped mine tightly, sending a jolt through my heart. The wedding simply swapped protagonists. We didn't even need to change outfits. The elegant white wedding dress looked as if it were custom, made for Isabella. The two of us looked so well matched, as if we were meant to be the bride and groom all along. Everyone attending the wedding banquet was sharp. Emily's escape had been too sudden and with no deliberate attempt to hide it. Most guests were aware of what had happened. Reporters smelling a juicy story eagerly raised their cameras towards the stage, waiting to capture the drama between two of New York's wealthiest families. Seeing me lead Isabella onto the stage, many jaws dropped. They had to admit the direct bride swap was quite something. The officiant, holding a newly printed script, professionally introduced the groom and bride. Will the groom and bride please exchange rings? Isabella took out a ring and placed it on my finger. I took out the other ring for her. As I slipped the ring onto Isabella's finger, I realized it didn't fit properly, and my eyes showed regret. This ring was sized for Emily. Time was too tight to have a new one made. Luckily, it could just barely be worn. After the ring exchange came the groom kissing the bride. I couldn't help feeling nervous. Isabella was known for her propriety. The few times she attended events, she never even had a male companion. Would she be willing? I started regretting dragging Isabella into this on a whim. Just as my mind was racing, I suddenly felt a soft touch on my lips. I opened my eyes in disbelief, met by the sight of Isabella's flawless face. Seeming to sense my shock, Isabella placed a hand on the back of my head and deepened the kiss. I slowly closed my eyes, the sound of the guests' congratulatory applause filling my ears. My parents weren't aware of my sudden decision, but faced with the congratulations from those around them, they could only smile and play along. They couldn't very well embarrass their own son in public. During the toasts, Mom pulled me into a private room. Dad was there too. She locked the door. "Son, what is going on? How did you suddenly end up with Isabella?" "Because she's beautiful." I didn't quite know how to explain my impulsive act. "Beautiful?" My mom thought about Isabella's face. "Yes, she was indeed quite beautiful, but she's over 10 years older than you. She was practically finishing elementary school when you were born. What's the big deal? Don't they say mature women know how to take care of someone?" I said brazenly, but Mom still frowned, unconvinced. Just as I was racking my brain for an excuse, there was a knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Mom opened the door to find Isabella standing there. It wasn't clear if she had just arrived or had been waiting for a while. My parents quickly put on gracious smiles, as if they hadn't just been questioning her suitability. "Ms. Carter, is there something we can help you with?" "I have a few things I'd like to discuss with Mr. and Mrs. Miller." I don't know what Isabella discussed with my parents, but in a short time, they not only stopped opposing the marriage, but became quite supportive of Isabella. "Isabella is good, capable, and resourceful," Dad acknowledged. Despite the significant age gap, a woman like her was mature, stable, and caring. Someone like Emily, who would run away at the last minute, wasn't worthy of his son. After the wedding, he moved directly into the Carter family's large villa. This was Isabella's private residence, and it was his first time there. The interior decoration was minimalist, dominated by black, white, and gray. After a long day of socializing, sticky with the smell of alcohol and sweat, Isabella went to freshen up first. He sat on the sofa to rest. The sound of rushing water came from the bathroom. Through the frosted glass, he could vaguely see the silhouette inside. He felt a little embarrassed and swallowed nervously. After a while, the water stopped, and he instinctively looked up. Isabella emerged from the bathroom wearing a bathrobe. The open collar hinted at the curves beneath, and her long, slender, fair legs were exposed. He was momentarily stunned. He hadn't realized she maintained her figure so well. Seeing him staring straight at her, a faint smile played on Isabella's lips. "Liam, why don't you go take a shower too?" Her deep, magnetic voice sounded. Realizing he'd been caught staring, he scrambled into the bathroom, stripped off his clothes, and let the water wash over him. Isabella's voice calling him Liam still echoed in his ears. Why hadn't he noticed how captivating she was before? After showering, he suddenly remembered he hadn't brought his clothes in. Helpless, he carefully opened the bathroom door just a crack, revealing half his face. "I say, Isabella, I forgot my clothes. Could you please hand them to me? They're in that bag on the sofa. Just hand me the whole bag." There was no response from outside for a moment. He wondered if Isabella had left. Just as he was about to ask again, a reply came. "Okay." Her pleasant voice had gained a hint of huskiness. Then came the sounds of movement and rustling plastic. Soon, Isabella arrived at the bathroom door. "Here." He cautiously opened the door a little wider, extending his arm. The clothes were placed in his hand. "Thanks." As he closed the bathroom door, his eyes accidentally met Isabella's. Those deep eyes seemed to burn with fire. Looking down at the underwear in his hand, his face turned completely red. "Ah." He clearly asked her to hand him the whole bag. After dawdling in the bathroom for a long time, he eventually had to come out. Steeling himself, he pushed open the door and walked out. Isabella had already changed into her pajamas and was sitting on the bed reading some documents. Seeing him emerge, she closed the file. Seeing no teasing expression on her face, he breathed a sigh of relief. Conveniently, he still had some serious matters to ask her about. "What do you plan to do about Emily?" As if expecting the question, Isabella handed him the documents she had just been reading. "Take a look." He walked over and took the file. It detailed the story of how Emily met some guy, reminiscent of an old-fashioned melodrama about a rich heiress and a pretty boy. There was even a thoughtfully included photo of this pretty boy, truly a smooth, talking type. Unbeknownst to him, these two had gone through cycles of dramatic breakups and reconciliations, until the night before, when the pretty boy learned Emily was getting married and called her crying. Emily's heart softened. She regretted everything, abandoned her fiancé on the eve of the wedding, and ran off with her young lover. Wow, if he weren't the fiancé himself, he'd almost wish them well. But unfortunately, he was the unlucky fiancé. Damn it, why didn't these two sort this out earlier? The timeline in the file showed their melodrama had been going on for 2 months longer than the wedding preparations. If Emily had given even the slightest hint, he wouldn't be this angry. Emily has already taken her little boyfriend traveling abroad. I've sent people to bring her back. If you wish, our marriage doesn't have to be official, Victoria said calmly, sensing his anger and assuming he regretted it. After all, they hadn't gotten legally married yet, just held the ceremony. But how could he regret it? He'd thrown away trash and picked up a treasure. This was incredibly lucky for him. We are married. I am your husband now. We'll go get the marriage license tomorrow. He was very serious. Isabella saw the sincerity in his words and became serious too. Okay. Does your offer to let me deal with Emily as I please still stand? He suddenly flashed a mischievous grin. As you wish. Excellent. I want you to freeze her credit cards. Without funds, let's see how comfortably Emily and her little boyfriend can travel abroad. Isabella saw through his petty intentions, but, instead of stopping him, fanned the flames. Starting today, I will seize all assets under her name. Little husband, what do you think? The sudden little husband caught him off guard for a second. I think that's great. Anything to make her life more miserable makes me happier. After dealing with the unfaithful woman, it was time for the next step. Let's get some rest then. Isabella seemed genuinely tired and reached over to turn off the light. The room plunged into darkness. He lay stiffly in bed, his heart pounding like a trapped deer. It was his first time being married, still a bit unsure of the protocol. What happens next? Wedding night consummation? Just as he was contemplating whether to make a move. Sleep. I won't touch you until you're ready. Shouldn't the guy usually say that? With a handsome man like him right beside her, could Isabella really resist? Having just closed her eyes, Isabella opened them again. He realized he'd accidentally spoken his thoughts aloud and quickly pretended to be asleep. However, barely 2 seconds after closing his eyes, he felt a weight settle on top of him. Cool, jade, like hands rested on his chest, warm breath fanning his ear. Want to try it? Turns out you shouldn't provoke a mature woman who's been celibate for years, or you'll face the consequences. The next day when he woke up, the sun was already high in the sky. The space beside him was cool. Isabella was gone. Understandable, the big boss was busy. His stomach rumbled with hunger, so he went downstairs to find food. Surprisingly, Isabella was sitting at the dining table reading a magazine. Little husband is awake. Did you rest well last night? Today, Isabella wasn't wearing a suit. She had on a simple white shirt, the collar slightly open, revealing faint marks underneath. Remembering yesterday, his face flushed again, but he retorted defiantly. Slept very well, Vicky. Hearing this nickname, the smile on Isabella's lips widened. Looks like my little husband was very satisfied last night. That puts my mind at ease. Why do you have to add little before husband? What's little about me? Isabella's gaze swept down, then she patted his head. Not little at all. Oh, look how worked up you got. Liam grumbled and sat down at the table. I'm hungry. Isabella smiled indulgently and went to the kitchen to bring out the food she'd kept warm. You just woke up, shouldn't eat anything too greasy. Breakfast was simple, a plate of dumplings, 2 small side dishes, and a bowl of congee. Liam was starving and didn't fuss, eagerly grabbing a dumpling. His eyes instantly lit up. Delicious. So good. Who made these dumplings? Isabella smiled without speaking. A thought flashed through Liam's mind. Don't tell me you made them? Isabella confirmed it with a nod. As long as it suits my husband's taste. Liam wanted to say something snarky, but they really were delicious. One must be honest. Seeing him eat happily, Isabella was also satisfied. It wasn't a waste of her efforts to specifically learn cooking. After lingering over breakfast, it was already quite late. Liam went upstairs to change. The decision to marry Isabella was too sudden, and he hadn't prepared beforehand. There were no men's clothes in the villa. The clothes he had were brought from home. Isabella frowned slightly, stepped out, and made a phone call. By the time she returned, Liam was ready. Let's go, Vicky. Okay. Today, Isabella wore a white shirt paired with light, colored jeans, looking like a fresh-faced college student. However, Liam's face flushed as he looked at the collarbone revealed by her shirt opening and the red mark below it. Are you going out like this? Is it not okay? Isabella asked, puzzled. Liam could only step forward, adjust her collar, then grab her arm and head out. With the fresh marriage certificate in hand, Liam and Isabella were truly husband and wife. Saying goodbye to single life like this felt a bit strange, but looking at the handsome man and beautiful woman in the wedding photo, TSK, what a perfect match. My taste is excellent, Liam thought. Emily and that pretty boy went traveling abroad with her cards cut off. They'd probably come crawling back within 2 days without money. He was now eagerly anticipating Emily's return and seeing her reaction to him becoming her father. Isabella was very thoughtful. After getting the marriage certificate, they returned home to find the previously empty closet filled with all sorts of men's clothing, all brand-name current season styles. It was urgent, didn't have time for custom tailoring. Make do with these for now, Isabella said. Although many of these clothes were ones Liam already owned, he was still very touched by Isabella's gesture. Just as Liam predicted, with all her cards frozen, Emily found it impossible to move abroad. As a conglomerate heiress, she never carried cash. Fortunately, the pretty boy beside her, named Leo, hadn't worked since getting together with Emily and still had some savings. If it weren't for Leo, she probably wouldn't have even made it back. Leo's real name was Leo Evans. He put on a show comforting Emily. Emily, don't worry. Maybe something happened. Let's buy tickets and go back to sea. Honey, thank you. Seeing Leo use his savings to buy tickets, Emily was deeply moved. She vaguely guessed something about her cards being frozen. They were unlimited cards. Bank staff wouldn't dare freeze them casually. It must have been that woman, Liam Miller, who said something. Anyway, the wedding was over. It was time to return. Leo had been by her side for so long. They truly loved each other. It was time to give him proper status. After all, she had even given him her first time. Thinking this, a happy smile appeared on Emily's face. Once they returned, they would get married. Then she would take over the Carter Corporation from Isabella, and no one could control her anymore. She could already envision her future happiness. So the two eagerly booked a flight back overnight. After a 7-hour flight, they arrived at the mansion around 8 o'clock in the morning. Emily knew Isabella rarely stayed at the old family estate, so she headed straight for Isabella's villa. Liam was currently lounging lazily on the sofa watching TV, waiting for Isabella's breakfast. Having spent the past few days constantly with Isabella, he realized his initial impression of her being aloof and unapproachable was just a facade. She was clearly a siren, draining one's energy. To enjoy their private time, Isabella had even given the villa's staff a short break, with only the cleaning lady coming every few days. Thus, preparing 3 meals a day fell to Isabella. Fortunately, Isabella seemed happy to do it. Every time she saw Liam eating with his cheeks puffed out, she'd playfully poke them. Just then, a mechanical voice sounded. "Master, someone is at the door." Liam shuffled in his slippers to check the security monitor outside. Seeing the travel-worn Emily and Leo, he couldn't help raising an eyebrow. "They're quick." He walked into the kitchen, hugged Isabella from behind, and watched her perfectly fry a sunny-side-up egg. TSK, people are different. I'll deal with her as you please." Isabella didn't even lift her eyelids. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Liam left Emily and the pretty boy waiting outside the gate, leisurely went upstairs to change, and only then opened the main gate. The villa was huge, the grounds extensive. It could almost be called a small estate. Previously, guests arrived by car, but unfortunately, the driver was also on leave, and Liam couldn't be bothered to drive out to pick them up. They'd have to walk in themselves. Emily and Leo had rushed straight to the villa after landing, without even eating. Now they were hungry and thirsty, but could only wait at the gate. Finally, the gate opened, but they had to rely on their own legs to get inside. This place is really big. Envy and jealousy flashed in Leo's eyes. "Once we're married, I'll buy you one this big too," Emily declared grandly. "That must be very expensive." "Emily, it's not necessary. No matter where we live, just being with you makes me happy. What's the big deal? I'll buy you several villas in the future. You can rotate living in them." Despite her bravado, Emily felt a little timid as she approached the main door. Growing up, Emily hadn't paid much attention to her adoptive mother, Isabella. But after witnessing how Isabella dealt with disobedient people, she learned her lesson. As she grew older and understood Isabella's methods better, her respect turned into fear. However, Isabella rarely interfered in family matters, which was why Emily dared to run off. She believed Isabella wouldn't meddle. Besides, as the Carter heiress, Isabella couldn't treat her like those other people. Buoyed by these thoughts, Emily psyched herself up. "Mom." She pushed open the door, but the person who greeted her wasn't Isabella, but someone unexpected. Liam offered Emily a friendly smile from the doorway. "Hello, you. What are you doing here?" Emily instinctively stepped back. "Ah." She bumped into Leo standing behind her. Leo, caught off guard, got his foot stepped on hard but didn't dare make a sound despite the pain. Hearing Leo's cry, Sarah quickly turned to check on him. "Are you okay, Leo?" "Sarah, I'm fine. As long as you're okay," Leo said weakly, gritting his teeth. Sarah fussed over Leo right in front of Liam. "Ethan Miller, I didn't expect you to be so malicious." "What did I do? This is ridiculous. I haven't moved from this spot since the beginning. Don't try to frame me." Sarah realized her accusation was baseless and shifted her attack. "I didn't expect you to be so shameless. Our wedding didn't even happen. How dare you live here? I don't like you. We have no future. This is my boyfriend, Leo. We're getting married soon." "What gave you that impression?" Liam was puzzled and speechless. Wow, this girl didn't even read the news reports from that day. But why would she think he'd cling to her? Had he ever pursued her excessively? Reviewing all his interactions with Sarah in his mind, he was certain. Was Sarah an idiot? "Buddy, I know you and Sarah were engaged, but you didn't actually get married. Besides, Sarah and I truly love each other. Please just let us be happy together." Leo had started his performance, a grown man sniffling and crying as if he'd suffered immense injustice. Sarah's heart ached for him, and she yelled at Liam. "Ethan Miller, you've gone too far. What does this have to do with me? Damn, I can't keep up with these two's logic. Are they crazy?" Liam said sympathetically. "Did the mental hospital run out of space, letting you two run wild out here?" It took Sarah a moment to react. "You're the crazy one." Seeing the utter indifference on Liam's face, Sarah began to doubt if he even liked her. But then she remembered where she was. This was the Carter house, not the Miller house. If Ethan wasn't here for her, why else would he be here? He must be pretending, trying to get her attention. Sarah softened her tone slightly. "Ethan, I have someone I love. There's no future for us. Apologize to my boyfriend immediately, and maybe we can still be friends later. Who wants to be friends with you?" Stupidity is contagious. Just as he was about to retort, Isabella's voice came from behind him. "What's wrong?" Everyone turned simultaneously. Isabella was wearing a custom-made black shirt that outlined her perfect figure. Combined with her stunning face and ascetic aura, every move she made was captivating. Leo stared, slightly dazed. "Mom, we're back. Why is this person here?" Sarah eagerly asked Victoria. Isabella ignored her and waved towards Liam. "Come eat." Since Liam was standing with Sarah and Leo, they both thought Isabella was beckoning them. "Mom, you even made breakfast especially for us." Sarah was deeply touched and tried to pull Leo over. But before they could reach the table, Isabella blocked them. "Mom, what are you doing?" Sarah asked, confused. Isabella extended her hand towards Liam again. "Honey, I'm coming." Liam immediately dashed forward and took Isabella's hand right in front of the two stunned onlookers. Turning back to see Sarah and Leo's wide eyes and gaping mouths, Liam beamed. "Daughter, call me Dad. Let me hear it." Sarah and Leo stood frozen, mouth agape. Isabella paid them no mind, pulling Liam to sit at the dining table. "Eat. It'll get cold and upset your stomach." The two standing figures took a full 2 minutes to process what was happening. Sarah forgot to lower her voice, shouting in disbelief. "What do you win? How is this possible?" On the wedding day, seeing the previously smug and narcissistic Sarah now looking utterly dumbfounded, mouth wide enough to fit an egg, made Liam happy. "Ha ha ha. Serves you right for being conceited. Payback time. Mom, how could you marry him?" Sarah couldn't help blurting out. Seeing Liam's triumphant expression, she speculated with the deepest malice. "He must have done it on purpose, Mom. He's doing it deliberately. Besides, there's over a decade between you. How can you be together?" Liam admitted that choosing Isabella initially had a slight element of revenge, but only slight. The bigger reason was that as a Miller, he couldn't let the family lose face in front of so many people. People like them didn't usually expect love and marriage. He chose Isabella because of her status. Besides, Isabella truly was far superior to Sarah in every way. Looks, figure, intelligence, everything. What's wrong with a decade difference? Love knows no age. He raised an eyebrow, then right in front of Sarah planted a kiss on Isabella's cheek. Revenge on you at the cost of marriage? Are you even worth it? Quick, good daughter, call me dad, or I'll have your mom replace you with another daughter, he threatened. Sarah pointed at his gloating face, fuming. Mom, aren't you going to do something about him? Hearing this, Isabella finally graced Sarah with a glance. Just as Sarah thought Isabella was about to reprimand Liam, Isabella affectionately ruffled his hair. How could I possibly control him? Besides, since I married Ethan, you should rightfully call him dad. Seeing Isabella siding with Liam, Sarah felt incredibly wronged. Having been treated like a princess for so many years, she'd never suffered such humiliation. She immediately turned to leave. Just then, she felt her hand squeezed. It was Leo. Looking down at Leo's pitiful face, she thought, fine. For our future happiness together, I'll endure it. Dad. Sarah forced out the word through gritted teeth. My daughter is so obedient. Ha ha ha. Liam finally couldn't hold back his laughter, roaring with mirth. Ethan Miller. Seeing him laugh so heartily without sparing her any face, Sarah's expression darkened further. Here, Dad even prepared a red envelope for you. Completely unfazed, Liam cheerfully walked up to Sarah and took a few bills from his pocket, placing them in her hand. Sarah didn't even want to take it. As an heiress, she didn't lack this small amount of money. Just then, Isabella said coolly, Take it. Don't throw it away. I'll endure. Sarah accepted it through gritted teeth, feeling like she might break them. Thank you, Dad. You're welcome, Liam replied, flashing all 8 teeth. After dealing with her, it was the pretty boy's turn. Yo, so this is my future son-in-law. Liam looked Leo up and down. Although he'd seen his photo, seeing him in person now, yeah, still not impressive. What kind of taste did Sarah have? While Leo's pretty face was indeed good, looking pale and delicate, his body was like a bamboo stick. The greed in his eyes since entering the courtyard was impossible to hide. This guy was definitely trouble. Only a fool like Sarah, blinded by narcissism, couldn't see it and believed Leo truly loved her. Hi, hello. My name is Leo. Leo choked, unable to bring himself to call the man standing before him, who looked about his age, Dad. Oh, Leo, right. Not bad. Liam didn't mind, offered a casual remark, and sat back down at the table to eat. It was Isabella's turn. Isabella understood immediately. She wiped her mouth. What did you come here for? Mentioning the purpose of their visit, Emily immediately forgot her earlier humiliation. Mom, why were my cards frozen and my cars and houses? Thinking about this, Emily remembered trying to drive her luxury car after leaving the airport, only to find it immobilized. She had to take a taxi all the way here. Who knows who had been in that taxi before? The stench inside made her face turn green. Why don't you know? Isabella's aura shifted instantly. Her tone became stern, emanating the authority of a leader. Your sudden elopement. Do you realize the impact it would have on the Miller and Carter families? Can you bear the consequences? Emily trembled, feeling an urge to kneel and beg for forgiveness, but thinking of Leo beside her, she held back for the sake of her image. I just didn't like him. What's wrong with wanting to be with the person I love? Seeing Emily act as if she'd done nothing wrong, Liam let out a cold laugh. Don't oversimplify this. It's fine if you don't like me, but we weren't together for just one day, nor was the wedding planned yesterday. If you didn't like me, you could have said so beforehand. Running away the day before the wedding without telling anyone, you trampled the Miller family's reputation into the dust. Marrying me, the sole heir of the Miller Corporation, meant you gained the backing of the Miller family, which cemented your status as the Carter heiress. Otherwise, with so many children in the Carter family, many more capable and intelligent than you, what right did you have? After Liam finished speaking, Isabella looked at Emily. Emily, unable to claim innocence anymore. Actually, she was just foolish. Having had a smooth life, everyone overlooked her mistakes because she was the Carter heiress. This fostered a habit of acting without considering consequences, doing whatever she pleased. I know I was wrong. I won't dare do it again. You think there'll be a next time? Isabella's cold gaze swept over her. Emily quickly corrected herself. No, no more next times. You want to be with him? Him naturally referred to Leo. Yes, Mom. I love him. I can't imagine a future without marrying him. I want to marry him. Emily immediately perked up, speaking earnestly. Ms. Carter, Emily and I are truly in love. I really love her, Leo added, his eyes looking shyly yet suggestively at Isabella. Liam scoffed inwardly. As a man, he knew exactly what that look meant. This pretty boy was definitely trouble. But it wasn't his turn to act, so he kept quiet. Fine, but if you want to be with him, you must renounce your status as the Carter heiress. Everything I've given you will be taken back. I won't support someone useless, Isabella stated calmly. Regardless of Leo's character, the Carter heir could not marry an ordinary man unless Emily possessed the same capabilities as Isabella. But Emily, in her 20s, was still as naive as a teenager. Everything she had was given by Isabella, by the Carter family. Mom, Emily cried out in disbelief. Did she have to pay such a high price just to marry the man she loved? Sarah, hearing Victoria's words, Leo was also shocked. This couldn't happen. He had approached Emily, acted out a charade, all to enter the Carter family and live a life of luxury, never worrying about money. If Emily actually agreed, losing the houses, cars, and money, why would he stay with her? It would be better for Emily to remain in the Carter family. As long as he controlled her, he could get as much money as he wanted later. But before he could persuade her, Emily lovingly grasped his hand. Don't worry. I will absolutely not let you down. She turned to Isabella. Okay, I agree. From now on, I am no longer your daughter nor the Carter heiress. Now I can marry Leo, right? No, Leo's heart bled, but he could only feign being touched. Emily, you don't have to go this far for me. You are the Carter heiress. You have a bright future. Don't try to persuade me anymore. I know what this decision means. I promise to marry you, and I will. Don't worry. We'll work hard together in the future and definitely build a good life, Emily said affectionately. Sitting at the table, watching these two talk past each other, Liam couldn't hide his smile. Talking to such an idiot must be driving Leo crazy. Good. Let him taste the confusion I felt earlier. Then we won't keep you. Leave. Before Leo could talk Emily around, Isabella issued the eviction order. Fine. Leave then. Emily's heiress temper flared, and she dragged Leo away. Once they were gone and the door closed, Liam finally burst out laughing until his stomach hurt. Ouch, ouch, ha. So happy. Isabella walked over helplessly and rubbed his stomach. Liam tilted his head back proudly. Of course I'm happy. Did you see Emily's face earlier? It was so dark. However, he grabbed Isabella's hand, his eyes sparkling. Are you really kicking Emily out? She's called you Mom for so many years. Can you bear it? She's not the only one who wants to call me Mom. Isabella patted his head. Besides, she's too clueless, lacks responsibility. How can she possibly manage Carter Corp? Exactly. She needs to experience some hardship. Liam nodded in strong agreement. The heiress was used to comfort, unable to accept any opposition. How could she possibly lead the Carter group? Isabella acted swiftly. As soon as Emily agreed, she immediately called the Carter family members, ordering that no one was allowed to help Emily. Violators would face consequences. Emily's biological parents were also disappointed in their daughter. Why did they go through so much effort to have Isabella adopt Emily, only for Emily to lose her head over some man? When Emily called her parents to borrow money, they refused without hesitation. Let the spoiled brat suffer a bit. Emily hung up, stunned. Beside her, Leo anxiously urged. Emily, how did it go? Did Mom and Dad agree? It's fine. I still have friends. Emily's stubbornness kicked in. She called every friend on her contact list. Ultimately, she borrowed only about $15,000. It sounded like a lot, but previously she spent more than that casually. These fair weather friends. She angrily threw her phone to the ground, shattering it. She comforted Leo, don't worry. I won't let you go back to your previous hard life. I'll find a job tomorrow. I can support you myself. Leo lowered his head silently, a flicker of something in his eyes. What he wanted was much more than just being comfortable. Never mind. Sarah hitting rock bottom right now, Liam and Isabella were honeymooning in Miami. Sunshine Beach, here I come. Liam changed into his swim trunks and stepped out of the room. As expected, Isabella was so beautiful he couldn't take his eyes off her, didn't even want to blink. How do I look? Good, she asked proudly, twirling in front of him. Let's go? Let's go play. Just as she was bouncing towards the door, Liam grabbed her arm. With a pull, he drew her into his embrace. What are you doing? I find Madam exceptionally beautiful like this, so perhaps it's best we don't go out today. I wouldn't want anyone else seeing Madam like this. Then what do you want to do? Isabella's eyes darkened. What do you think? Liam grinned mischievously, leaning close to her ear, his breath warm. Waking up the next day, she stood before the mirror, examining the marks on her body. Ethan Miller, you really are a bad man. Women love bad boys, don't they? Miami Beach, the endless ocean merging with the blue sky, truly beautiful. Isabella sat quietly on a lounge chair, watching Liam. When the time was right, she'd call him over to apply sunscreen, feed her fruit, and give her juice. Life couldn't get better than this. Meanwhile, Emily was miserable. She was used to spending lavishly. Although she borrowed over $15,000 from friends and had some savings, totaling around $20,000, her uncontrolled spending depleted most of it in less than a month. Emily still hadn't found a job. Conversely, Leo found work as a waiter, taking on the responsibility of supporting the household. Leo still clung to the hope that the Carter family was just putting on an act to force him away. So he continued playing the role of the perfect boyfriend for Emily. Emily naturally was deeply moved and trusted him completely. She handed over the remaining few $1,000s to Leo for safekeeping and, through Leo's introduction, started working at a company. Emily, after all, graduated from a prestigious university, so getting hired was easy enough. But Emily was used to being arrogant. In the small company, she was just a low-level employee, and anyone could push her around, which she couldn't tolerate. 3 days into the job, she got into a fight with her supervisor. After paying several $1,000s in compensation, she was gloriously fired. Emily, you really need to control your temper. If this continues, what will happen to us? The few $1,000s they had managed to save were gone just like that. Leo felt extremely frustrated, but could only suppress his anger and patiently counsel Emily. I didn't mean to. He kept ordering me around, making me do this and that. Emily lowered her head, mumbling like a child caught doing wrong. After her recent experiences, she understood that without the Carter heiress title, nobody cared about her. Only Leo still treated her the same. She couldn't lose Leo too. Emily, I know it's not your fault, but we have no money or power. We just have to endure. Leo lowered his head, his voice choked with emotion. Maybe you should go beg Miss Carter and your parents. If their hearts soften, they'll definitely let you go back. Don't worry, I will definitely do my best. Emily's gaze became determined, but she still refused Leo's suggestion to seek help from the Carter family. Emily Carter, had her pride. She had made a promise to Isabella and would keep it. She would rely on herself to build a good life, not depend on others. A month later, Liam and Isabella returned from their honeymoon. Seeing Emily again shocked Liam. Was this the same defiant girl from before? Her hair was messy and dusty, her clothes wrinkled and dirty. She looked like a construction worker. She was holding a carton of milk and a box of pastries. What's this? Emily knew her current appearance clashed with the opulent mansion. She scratched her head, unusually embarrassed. Don't worry, I'm not here for money. What do you mean? Liam frowned, not understanding immediately. I just wanted to come thank you. Emily placed the milk and pastries on the ground, likely worried about getting dirt on him, and bowed from a distance. Liam stepped back, startled, not daring to accept the items. Thank me? Thank me for what? For colluding with Isabella to kick her out so we could enjoy life? Had Emily gone mad? Yes, thank you. If it weren't for what you said, I might never have experienced the happiness I feel now. Although I'm not rich like before, being with Leo makes me happy every day. The joy radiating from Emily's face was genuine. She was truly happy. Over the past month, Emily had gone through so much. Her first half, life, pampered by everyone, was comfortable, but now she lived miserably. She became pregnant. Leo naturally didn't want her working anymore, but she disagreed. Seeing their money dwindle, she gritted her teeth and found another job. Working in a private company, She couldn't stand the arrogant managers. Working as a waitress or dishwasher paid too little to support Leo and the unborn baby. So Emily gritted her teeth and started washing dishes. Literally washing dishes in a restaurant. She earned $10 a day. Previously, a single drink she ordered cost 10 times that. But now she worked desperately for this meager sum. During this time, she learned how hard life was for low-level employees, something she had never understood before. Now, although it was hard and tiring, seeing the wages in her account felt fulfilling. Coming home each day to a warm meal and Leo's smile filled her heart with warmth. Was this what home felt like? Seeing the joy emanating from Emily, Liam understood. He didn't expect Leo to last this long. Then Emily dropped another bombshell. I also came to tell you I'm pregnant. We're having a baby. I'll raise them well through my own efforts in the future. Liam's heart skipped a beat, but his face remained impassive. As long as you're happy, Isabella, and I wish you happiness. That was the sentence Emily was waiting for. She left happily. Watching her retreating figure, Liam felt she was like a simpleton. Back in the villa, he told Isabella about Emily's pregnancy and her gift of milk and pastries, asking if she wanted to try some. Isabella was also somewhat surprised and got up to make a phone call. 2 hours later, a fresh intelligence report was delivered. Isabella opened it first and scanned it. Curious, Liam leaned over. How is it? How is it? See for yourself. Isabella didn't say directly, just handed him the file. Liam's curiosity piqued. He took it and scanned it from top to bottom. It detailed all of Emily's experiences over the past 2 months. No wonder she said those strange things at the door just now. She really had gone through a lot. Previously pampered as the Carter heiress, she now understood the harsh realities of life. Not bad, not bad. Progress. But seeing the next line, he raised an eyebrow, then thought back to Emily's blissful expression. Tisk, looks like she's due for another blow. Wait a bit longer. It should be soon. Isabella took the file from his hand and patted his head affectionately. Looks like you weren't as indifferent to Emily as you pretended. The file arrived so quickly, proving Isabella had been having Emily followed all along. No. Isabella shook her head. Simply, you wanted to watch the show, so she had specifically sent people to tell Emily and Leo, ensuring I'd get the first taste of the fresh gossip. Liam playfully nibbled Isabella's cheek, leaving a ring of teeth marks on her face. Does it have to be nibbling? Can I? You're all mine, she said haughtily. Of course you can. It's my honor. However, madam, if you don't mind, you could nibble a few more times. Ah, no. She leaped off him in a flash. Things unfolded just as Isabella predicted. It didn't take long. Just a month later, Leo sold the apartment and ran off with all the money. Emily spent money extravagantly, so Leo suggested she entrust all the money to him for safekeeping. Emily naturally agreed without hesitation. All the money earned from working recently was given to Leo. Emily only kept a few $100s for pocket money. Leo left abruptly. Emily hadn't noticed anything unusual. As usual, she got off work and returned home, only to find another group of people living in the apartment. Upon anxious inquiry, she learned the original owner had sold the place to them. Emily collapsed despondently at a street corner, still holding the strawberries she bought for Leo on the way home. Why? Emily didn't understand. Everything seemed fine before. Why did Leo leave? Did she do something wrong? With only a few $100s, it wasn't enough to stay even one night in this bustling city. Without a blanket or anything warm, Emily could only curl up on a park bench, shivering in the early winter night, freezing cold and unable to sleep. Emily's mind replayed the events of the past 6 months. She finally believed she had been deceived. A sound that was both a laugh and a sob escaped Emily's throat. Somehow, she managed to survive until dawn. Emily dazedly stood up and headed towards the police station. She had been tricked so badly, Leo wouldn't get away with it. Just steps away from the police station, her vision went black, and she fainted. When she opened her eyes again, she saw a hospital room. She had miscarried. Awake. Liam stood up and poured Emily a glass of water. Why are you here? Emily's throat was hoarse, and seeing him was clearly a surprise. You fainted outside the police station. The police called us, he told the truth. Isabella has some things to attend to. You know how busy the company is. After drinking some water, Emily's throat felt much better. Thank you. Don't mention it. Happy to help. Liam waved it off nonchalantly. What are your plans now? At this question, Emily fell silent. Liam took the initiative. If you don't want to talk about it, fine. You're awake now, my job is done. I'm leaving. Emily clenched her fists tighter and tighter. Just as he was about to step out of the room, wait, Dad. Liam turned back in surprise. Then, with a thud, Emily slid off the bed and knelt before him. What are you doing? He asked, feigning ignorance. I want to beg you. I was wrong before. I was blind. Please be the bigger person and help me. Getting this proud girl to sincerely apologize wasn't easy. Liam felt satisfied and nodded readily. Okay. Really? Emily seemed unprepared for his quick agreement. Liam raised an eyebrow disapprovingly. What's with that look? I'm very kind-hearted. With that, he pulled a piece of paper from his bag and handed it to Emily. Here, this is why your little boyfriend left. Emily eagerly took it, reading carefully, unwilling to miss a single word. Leo was not as sincere as he appeared. In high school, Leo hung out with delinquents, paid no attention in class, and naturally didn't get into college. So at a young age, he had to start working. Lazy by nature, he wasn't willing to work hard for meager pay. Leo targeted Emily, who frequented the hotel where he worked. An heiress, proud and pampered, was the easiest type to fool. And indeed, Emily was fooled by Leo. If it weren't for Liam's unexpected appearance disrupting Leo's plan, he would have succeeded. So that's how it was. Ha ha ha. He really treated me like a clown. Tears rolled down her cheeks one by one. She really did like Leo. Watching Emily kneel on the floor, crying her heart out, Liam shook his head. TSK. One should never let love cloud their judgment. As devastated as Emily was, she bounced back just as quickly. Crying hysterically one day, the next she was suited up and heading to work at Carter Corporation. This was naturally arranged by Isabella. However, Emily returned to Carter Corp not as vice president, but as a bottom-rung employee. According to Isabella, don't expect handouts without achievements. How can you prove your ability? How far she climbed depended on herself. Emily, after all, graduated from a prestigious university and navigated the entry-level position smoothly. After months of tempering in the outside world, her personality visibly matured. She handled matters big and small competently. Isabella, usually intolerant of flaws, was very satisfied. Leo, after leaving Emily, didn't fare as well as imagined. He found his former lover and shacked up with her. Initially, with money to spend, they got along relatively harmoniously. Later, when the money ran out, the woman immediately took the remaining cash and disappeared. Watching the video sent by the private investigator on his phone, Liam couldn't help but laugh. He showed Emily the update on Leo's situation. Emily was engrossed in a major project, having worked non-stop for 2 days and nights. She had previously renounced her inheritance for Leo. Even returning now, she couldn't reclaim that position. She had to compete with other heirs and heiresses. Only the most capable could climb higher. Emily looked up from a pile of documents. Seeing Leo's name on the paper felt like looking back at a past life. Remembering the suicidal feelings she had when she first realized Leo had deceived her now seemed almost laughable. She had been too immature. But seeing Leo's current state, a hint of schadenfreude arose. Cheating someone's feelings brings bad luck for 8 lifetimes. Still, she had to thank Leo. If not for this ordeal, she might never have grown up. Emily smiled, relieved. Thanks, Dad. You don't need to show me anything about him anymore. I don't care about him now. Well said. Liam gave her a thumbs up. Just for calling him Dad, she deserved that thumbs up. That evening, lying in bed after washing up, Liam remembered the incident and told Isabella about Leo as a joke. Isabella wasn't particularly interested. If someone could fool Emily, it was because Emily was even more foolish. Liam agreed. Speaking of which, Emily's reaction surprised me. Didn't she used to be all about lovey-dovey stuff? How did she change so fast? Looks like she's practically sworn off love and ready to become a nun. Emily's ability to detach so quickly was unexpected. Listening to my constant chatter about Emily, Victoria finally couldn't take it anymore. Her voice grew husky. Since my husband is so idle, why don't we do something more fun? Maybe let's not. I have to go to the company tomorrow. All in all, in this farcical event where the fiancé ran off and her mother took her place, Victoria and I turned out to be surprisingly compatible, and Victoria liked me very much too. 3 years later, Victoria and I welcomed a little treasure, a daughter. Our daughter inherited Victoria's flawlessly beautiful face. This made the daughter, doting Victoria, hesitant to discipline the little one, whose face looked so much like her own. But I had no such reservations. Victoria's face on our daughter didn't look out of place at all. While Victoria was usually reserved and cool, our daughter constantly tilted her little face up, acting cute and asking for hugs. I'm super cute, okay? When our daughter got a little older, I bought her tons of little dresses. All sorts of princess gowns, cute outfits, cool ones, and even quirky ones. Suffice it to say, fashion depends on the face. Every outfit looked perfect on our daughter. She loved these pretty clothes too. Every time I bought new clothes, she'd eagerly come over and let me dress her up. Thinking about it, it was like playing dress up with a mini Victoria. Victoria found this exasperating but couldn't stop my playful antics. I also bought many matching family outfits, like cute dinosaur pajamas for all three of us. Seeing Victoria looking clumsy doing anything in her dinosaur PJs, if her colleagues saw this, they'd probably die laughing. Anyway, I couldn't hold it in. Ha ha ha. Stop laughing, Victoria said helplessly. Her response was met with even louder laughter from me. Ha 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 ha. Ethan Miller. Victoria, embarrassed and annoyed, lunged forward and covered my mouth. Ha ha ha. Vicky, I'm being oppressed. I report her for cheating. Just as we were lost in a kiss, a sweet milky voice piped up from the side. I want kisses too. Looking down, it was our little treasure. Victoria and I blushed furiously with embarrassment. Without another word, we each planted a kiss on our daughter's soft, fair cheeks, one from the left, one from the right.